Good morning and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. This week we're going to look at the miracle of turning the water into wine. For many years, this miracle has bothered me. It's not the kind of miracle I expect Jesus to do. Think about it. We see Jesus doing miracles like feeding the 5,000 people, or casting out demons, or healing someone born blind, or a crippled person. All miracles that were amazing, but which also had something of compassion to them. Jesus delivered others in his miracles. But then you have this one, where it looks at first glance like Jesus just saved a bridegroom from a little embarrassment. The miracle hardly seems worthy of Jesus. And yet, it was his very first miracle in the Gospel of John. So it must have some significance. Let's read the miracle first. On the third day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine gave out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what concern is that to you and to me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now standing there were 6 stone water jars for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water." And they filled them up to the brim. He said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the chief steward." So they took it. When the steward tasted the water that had become wine, and did not know where it came from, although the servants who had drawn the water knew, the steward called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guests have become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this, the first of his signs in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this he went down to Capernaum with his mother, his brothers, and his disciples, and they remained there a few days. So again, this was Jesus' first miracle in the Gospel of John. So it must have some significance more than just being some kind of party trick to save some embarrassment. Maybe there's just a hint in the very first words of the story. On the third day, it begins, or in other words, 3 days later. And it makes you ask the question, 3 days after what? Well, the answer to that question is back in the first chapter of John, in John 1:43. In that story, Jesus calls Philip and another disciple named Nathanael to follow him. And when he calls Nathanael, Nathanael is astonished that Jesus seems to know all about him just by glimpsing him under a tree. And Jesus tells him, "You will see greater things than this." It turns out that Nathanael will see those greater things rather quickly, in just 3 days, when Jesus does this miracle. It's also important to catch the first hint of 3 days here. The miracle is intended to point to Jesus' glory. And the hint of the 3 days suggests his ultimate glorification in the cross and empty tomb. This week, we're going to look at different aspects of this miracle and show its depth and breadth. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.